Hi everyone, Stepan here. In today's daily chess test, I have two famous positions for you to solve. Maybe you know one of them, maybe you know both. I hope you don't, but they are very instructive, and if you don't know them, you're going to learn a lot. So I wanted to include them at some point. I decided to do it now. Okay, the first position is Fischer from the Curaçao candidates in 1962. A very famous position. It's white to play. So pause the video, solve the position over a real board, time yourself, you have 15 minutes, don't move the pieces when analyzing and write your analysis down. Good luck with this one. You may think it's simple, but it's not that simple. Take your time. Okay, pause the video, see you in a minute. Good luck. Okay, so Fischer had just played queen to c7, and there is double pressure on the a5 pawn. That's the most important thing in this position. White needs to find a way to deal with this, because if he loses his a5 pawn, then maybe the fact that black has back rank issues, that his bishop is undeveloped, and that white has a passed pawn on d5 will not be as relevant. So you need to save your pawn. Now let's look at the options. White is better here, no doubt about it, but if you play sort of passively, then you may lose your advantage. One idea which you had probably thought of is rook to a1. Now rook to a1 is not a bad move, and probably white is still a lot better. I'm not going to say winning, but better. But this is passive, and this places your rook. You're going to have to move it somewhere active at some point anyway. So this is just a temporary solution to the problem, which actually gives black time to start developing his pieces, to start sorting out his back rank issues, maybe bring his king closer to the center. If black can do something like this eventually, then he is fine. So rook a1, definitely a possibility and a way to solve your issues. Well, another option which you'd probably thought of, which you may think work tactically, actually leads to an equal position, and that's queen to b6. If you try playing queen to b6, defending your pawn indirectly, of course if rook takes pawn, then queen takes queen, black can actually take the queen. And now if you take with the rook, counting on black being stupid and taking on a5, then fine, you win, because rook to d6 and you're going to either mate or win the bishop. However, after rook takes b6, black simply plays king to f8, and this position is in fact equal, probably even better for black with correct play. Black is now threatening to take the pawn, and he's going to win the pawn, so you need to go for counterplay of some sort, either play f3 or h3 to defend your back rank and then start with d6, or play d6 straight away. Now if you play d6, then rook a5, maybe f3 to sort out your back rank, rook to c5, and you're not really getting anywhere. You're a pawn down for not that much. This passed pawn on d6 does look intimidating, but you're not going to be able to queen it. Black has too much defense, of course, with all of his pieces. And in the meantime, this pawn could start moving forward, and your bishop is not too good. So, how do you deal with this? Well, Efim Geller played an amazing move, which, I mean, it may seem tactical, but the idea is deeply positional. And, okay, he played queen to a4. And this is the only correct way to play this position. Of course, this disables black from taking on a5 with either piece, because queen e8 would be mate, so black has to do something about that. Black has a couple of options. Can play bishop d7, can play king f8, maybe even queen d7 works, but queen d7 would, well, not be attacking a5 anymore. So Bobby Fischer played bishop to d7. And now the idea is queen to a3. And this will lead to a favorable trade after rook a5, which happened in the game. Rook takes b7, queen takes b7, and queen takes a5. Of course, no back rank issues because bishop f1. And all of a sudden, this is a weakness, this is a weakness, this is a weakness. And Fischer was forced to play g6. He could also play h6. But now after h3, this is just a very, very nice endgame with 2 connected passed pawns, which Efim Geller went on to win convincingly. Now, the other idea behind queen a4, which I have to highlight, is if black should, for example, play king to f8, then the whole idea of queen a4, the positional idea, was to play rook to b6. And once you play rook b6, you have indirectly defended your a5 pawn, which means that now your queen is free to move. You have basically doubled the pressure on the b7 pawn because you can play queen back to b4. You're also putting pressure on the rook, which is now pinned to the king. So queen a4 is such an elegant solution to black's problems that when I was first going over this game, I was really amazed, and I remember thinking, oh, I hope I would have found this if this was my game. Anyway, Geller went on to win. Queen a4 may seem like a simple solution when you see it, but it's actually not easy to see. I didn't see it when I was guessing the moves in this game. Okay, position 2. This position, I honestly hope you don't know it. If you don't know it, then this is going to be an eye-opener for you. If you do know it, then if you've seen it before, still try to solve it again. Maybe you don't remember everything. Okay, so this is a study composed by Richard Reti, and pause the video. It's white to play. Good luck. I'm not going to say anything else. If you don't know it, take your time. Take as much as you need for this one, if you are not able to solve it quickly. Okay, pause the video. See you in a minute, guys. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, black is threatening to queen, and white is not threatening to queen. Of course, if white plays pawn to c7, then black plays king b7, and black just wins. Okay, if white tries going after the h-pawn like this, well, then the pawn just moves forward and black queens, and at the same time, black is still preventing the c-pawn from queening. So what you have to do is use the geometry of the board to your advantage. And as you know, in chess, you can take several different routes to accomplish one thing. For example, moving towards this pawn can be done directly, or it can be done indirectly. So what you have to do, what you had to see to solve this, is you had to combine the attack on the h-pawn and the defense of the c-pawn. So you need to play several multi-purpose moves which are going to take you towards both pawns at the same time. And of course, the answer is you're going to do this. And then you're threatening to go here, and you're threatening to go here at the same time. So you have to get your king to e5, threatening king to f4, and threatening king to d6, because king f4 threatens to take the h-pawn, which is a draw. King d6 threatens to queen the c-pawn, which is a draw. So the only move to draw this position is king to g7. Now, black can play either king b6 or h4, doesn't really matter. He's going to have to play both of them eventually. So let's say h4, they just transpose. King f6, it still seems that white is unable to do anything after h4, but we go after the same principle, king to h4. So moving towards the e5 square and trying to do this and this at the same time. Okay, king to b6, king to e5. Now, white is threatening to play king to f4. If black just takes the pawn, then king f4 is a draw. And it's just simple. So after king e5, black plays pawn to h3, and it still seems that, well, black is threatening to take the c-pawn, threatening to queen his h-pawn, but the drawing move is king to d6, and now there is nothing black can do to win this position. His best is to just play h2, white plays c7, if king to b7, then king to d7, and you actually queen with check, so it's an even easier draw. So h1 equals queen, and c8 equals queen, and this position is a draw. I mean, there is basically no way to win. One side will have to blunder the queen or blunder mate, but yeah, basically it's a draw. So this position is, I think if you know this, then in practical play, in actual endgames, you're going to have a much easier time solving problems like this, which do arise, and the geometry of the board actually becomes relevant in reduced material endgames. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you got something from the two positions I prepared for you today. Let me know if you prefer positions like this, which are very instructive, or if you prefer very hard positions. I've been struggling to find something in between. So please let me know what you think. Okay, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more chess. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.